Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue.
We're going to dive into this. What does it mean? And what does it mean for us? We will use the examples and then we will apply it to what it wants to show us. What does it want to show us? It wants to tell us that we are pure consciousness and this entire universe is an appearance within us. This is an advanced text, this one, this particular verse. Remember, this is meant to be an answer to Rama. Why should I not give up this world? Get rid of this world. I'm going to go to the mountain, sit and meditate. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody, and I want to become enlightened. Why not? Tell me why not. And this verse is actually building up to an answer. It's an advanced verse. Advanced in what sense? In Advaita Vedanta, there are two steps. First, you realize yourself as pure consciousness. Who am I? Not this body, not this mind, this witness consciousness I am. Swami Vivekananda says, never think of yourselves as the body or the mind. Always know that you are the spirit. This is the secret. Know yourself to be the spirit and then consider the world to be a series of paintings, like paintings on canvas. These are his words. So this is the first step actually in Advaita Vedanta. That technically this is called the discernment of the self from the not self. The discernment of the self from the not self. The separation of what we truly are from what we are not. And this goes to the Advaitic analysis of our problem. What's our problem? And says, actually Advaita says, you really have no problem, as you truly are. Vivekananda would often say to Americans here, is that if only you knew yourself as you truly are, then we have no problem. But what has happened is, what we think of ourselves is a mixture of what we truly are and what we are not. And this mixture is what we consider ourselves to be. And this is the root of our problems. So Advaita Vedanta says, unless we clear up this mixture, unless we separate this, not physically, in our understanding first, unless we have some clarity about what exactly we are never going to solve the problem. So the first step is this discernment between the self and the not self. How is that accomplished? Consider the unique nature of consciousness, of awareness. I'm using the word consciousness, awareness indifferently. Just right now we are conscious. Let us try, when I speak, let us try to notice it. What we're going to talk about is present right here. This is one of the beauties of the Advaitic approach. If I were to give you a lecture on yogic meditation, that lecture wouldn't be yogic meditation. It would be a set of instructions, philosophies and all. Then you would have to try it out actually. Sit and close your eyes and breathe and pranayama and then withdraw your mind and so on. And focus and visualize and so on. If I were to give you a lecture on bhakti of Rama or Krishna, that lecture itself wouldn't be bhakti. One would have to cultivate it. However, in contrast, what we are talking about here in Advaita Vedanta is present always, is present right now. Advaita just invites us to take a look. It's as simple as that. Let's try to take a look. Notice, when we are seeing right now, we are aware. We are conscious. It's a conscious experience. I can use many words for it. It's a conscious experience. It's happening in awareness. It's a first-person experience. It's a subjective experience. Philosophers call it qualia. You're having this first-person experience. When we see, we are aware. What we see keeps changing. You were seeing something else earlier, now it's changed a little bit. When we hear, we are aware. When we smell, taste, touch, all of that, we are aware. Seeing and smelling and tasting and touching and hearing, they are all very different from each other. They use different kinds of physiology, different kinds of inputs. But one thing common to all of them is awareness. And it is the same awareness. Let us take a moment to consider that, yes, the same awareness, am there when I'm seeing. I'm there when I'm hearing, smelling and tasting and touching. Though hearing, smelling, seeing are very, very different from each other, one common factor is this awareness.
Real quick, I guess that was my other computer that did that. Anyways, I will say the interesting thing is the sheer fact that this awareness is only ever aware in terms of, I guess, the individual is through our senses. We can. Hmm. I guess my question would be, it's like, why can we only be aware of what we are capable of? Because I'm sure, like, obviously snakes has awareness, but it is able to sense heat because of the special organs it has. I think it does it through its it smells through its tongue, but I think it has like some type of receptors that detects heat. I'm sure some snakes do. And just what is it? I don't know what else, but like I guess for example, there's a certain light, I believe. I know they use it in the military that they shoot it up in the air and it lights the area, but you cannot see it with your eyes. You have to wear special goggles, and then if you're looking through the goggles without that flare, it's darkness. Then when you shoot the flare and it goes off, you can see it lights up the area. But I think it's a particular color. It's not like it's not like shooting daylight out there. It's shooting like a. I guess when you're looking through the gauntlets, like everything looks green, but it's lit up. Um, Instead of being like trees being green and the branches or the branch and trunk being brown, it's just all green. Not like, and you get what I'm saying. You can tell the details and everything. It's just I believe. Anyways, so I guess the question is, it's just the sheer fact, why are we only conscious of what the body's capable of? But I guess the answer to that would be, well, consciousness can only be aware of what it is in, what it's in, what the capabilities of what it is in. So for the human body, it's our five senses. For a snake, it has whatever senses a snake has, including the ability to detect heat. Um, and whatever other animals that has an extra ability that can perhaps see more in the light spectrum, or hear more, like dogs can hear higher or lower frequencies. I can't remember, both maybe. Higher frequencies, I believe it is. Kind of like things like that. We are not aware of everything. We can only ever be aware of what our senses can be aware of, right? I mean, I don't think this is necessarily a deep question, but it's kind of like, why is that? And I'm sure the answer is probably just because of the limitation of the Maya that you're in. So the illusion of this body, it's limited to what it can be aware of. I don't know. It could be a deeper question. I'm not sure. Again, this is just something I just thought of whenever he said that. It's like, he's talking about how we are aware of our smells and our sight, but why are we limited to? Why is our awareness limited to just those things? So the one answer could be is the fact that our awareness is because of the Maya, that we are limited to what the body, whatever the consciousness in is limited of what the thing that it's in is capable of. Or could you say, if you become enlightened, that you can become more aware of more spectrums of the light, uh, higher and lower frequencies? I know there are exceptional people out there who can, I think, do those things. I don't know. It's just something I thought of. I thought I'd just share that and let me know what you guys think. It's kind of like, why are we just aware of the things that this body's capable of?
Not only all sensory experiences, in the experience of the body, not only the experience of the world, not only the experience of the body, but when we close our eyes and look inside, introspect, how am I feeling? How are you feeling right now? What are you thinking of right now? What are you remembering? What do we want right now? When we look into our inner private world, thoughts, memories, impulses, feelings, and In and through all of them, we are aware. Whatever we're thinking of, we are aware. We may not be aware, we may not be paying attention to something, but awareness, a baseline awareness, background awareness is always there. Consciousness is always there. In thinking, in remembering, in desiring, in hating, in being happy, in being miserable. One neuroscientist said, the IBM supercomputer, Deep Blue, is very smart. It can beat chess grandmasters, but it can't suffer. A mouse is not smart in that way, but it can feel pain. So when we feel pain, we are aware. It's because of awareness. In fact, it's because of awareness that we're feeling pain. So pain, pleasure, whatever our entire inner world is illumined by awareness. It's the same awareness which enables us to see, hear, smell, taste, touch.
Well, also the computer, though, while it may not feel it, it can detect it. Again, because I guess it's a bit, the computer is not an organic body. So the only way something can tell that there's a damage to it is a sensor. So for us, the sensor is pain. For a computer, a sensor would be, well, a sensor, literally, legitimately a sensor that says, hey, like there are computers out there who will, it's like, oh, there's something wrong here, there's something wrong there. It's not pain, but it's the same thing as pain. It's a sensor letting you know there's something wrong there. That's what our pain receptors are. It draws your freaking attention to the spot when you put, alcohol wipes. You're like, oh my gosh, I have a scratch there. That freaking hurts, When you discover you have a scratch in your hand, you put that alcohol, it will let you know that you have a scratch there. But yes, pain for us is just a way to grab our attention and say, ouch. Whereas a robot doesn't need that, but it can have sensors. It can still operate perhaps without it. Again, like a lot of things in our body can be replicated into a machine, I believe. And I wouldn't doubt it, so.
All our waking is pervaded by this awareness. And our dreams too. The whole waking world disappears when we go into a dream world. Awareness is there. And it's the same awareness which allowed us to have the first person experience of the waking world. The same awareness which continues in the dream world. Memory is different. We have forgotten that we are sleeping. It's a new world. But same awareness. And Vedanta insists, this is stunning, but it's important to appreciate. It insists that in the deep blankness of, complete blankness of deep sleep, no waking, no dreaming, just deep sleep, there is still awareness. The awareness of blankness, absence. I often say the deep sleep is not an absence of awareness, it's an awareness of absence.
Can we also say that perhaps in the deep sleep as well, that there doesn't seem to be a memory function? It's weird to say that. There doesn't seem to be a memory function. You don't remember that you're in a deep sleep. There's no, in some sense, a recording. Because, like, every day when you're active, you record stuff. Don't get me wrong, we have terrible minds. We forget certain things that we did. But we record it, and then some gets saved to the long-term memory, and some gets discharged out because you don't need to remember everything. It's not mandatory to remember every single little thing that you did. But perhaps in the deep sleep, is there any kind of recording, or is it all recorded like any other time and just all thrown out? But that's all within the physical body. Awareness of absence. But maybe that's the reason why. It's the fact that, again, it's all perhaps recorded and discarded, or there's no recording whatsoever. Kind of like every day where. But then also. When you close your eyes and before you go to sleep, you are aware. You are still recording, even though there's blank. And even without deep sleep per se, you are still aware. Because the only time you ever dream is in REM sleep and deep sleep. Any other time I don't believe, as far as my research has been done, is you don't dream. So before and after your REM or deep sleeps, you're still asleep, but you're not in deep sleep, and you're not aware still. And in REM and deep sleep is the time when you can actually dream. But the thing is about dream is the fact that you're supposedly, according to scientists, you average about 2 to 3 dreams a night, supposedly. But we don't always remember our dreams. But when we do, we become aware of them. So would this indicate that how does that work then with awareness? Why is it are we aware of some dreams and not all? Why is it when we wake up it's like, "Oh my gosh, I had a dream. It was kind of crazy." And then other days we just wake up and like, "I didn't have a dream." But if scientists were to record it and you did, and why is it that day that you like, "I didn't have a dream," but you really did? Or did you? And scientists have it wrong. Again, I don't know. Again, questions I think of is stupid. But I'm guessing your mind is perhaps constantly recording even at night, but because it's useless stuff that it just throws it all out. But every once in a while, it puts a dream in long-term memory, perhaps, or maybe it's in your short-term memory just long enough for you to be aware of it before it shoots it out and say that's trash, that's garbage. I don't know.
In deep sleep, it's an awareness of absence, a total absence. In deep sleep, in coma, in anesthesia, awareness continues nevertheless, all throughout. Our days, months, years. One day the body will die and pass away, Vedanta claims. There's quite a little bit of simple but subtle argumentation here. Body may pass away, awareness will continue. What kind of argumentation at this point, one may ask? One little fact for consideration. Think, when we fall asleep, we lose complete sense of this body. The body is on the bed and sleeping, we lose sense of it. We lose sense of the time and place, that it's night, it's this room, bedroom. No, we forget all that. There's a new time, a new dream place. You have a new body in the dream. Now, if awareness can continue, subjectively speaking, without acknowledging the physical body sleeping on the bed, subjectively speaking, that shows to us we can continue to be aware without any awareness of this body. There's an internal argument, like a phenomenological argument. And there is an external argument also. When a person dies, what dies? You just have to ask a doctor. It's the body which dies. How do you know the person is dead? All the symptoms are symptoms in the body. But when that person was alive, right, like right now, when we look at the person next to us, we are not interacting just with the body. We're interacting with a sentient being. Look at the sleight of hand, the trick that we play on ourselves. When a person is alive, we are interacting with that person alive, the live person, as a sentient being, not just the body. When the body dies, the sentient being is not available to us for interaction, and we say, that one is dead. How do you know? What has happened is the body is dead. This moves on the crucial assumption that the sentient being, the conscious being, is being generated by the body. So if the body is destroyed, there's no other being left. That's the assumption. But it's an assumption, and one which is seriously challenged today. You might think this is where it starts talking about the hard problem of consciousness. No, I won't. It's just that is a serious challenge. In modern consciousness studies, if you Google it, that's the hot topic now. The irreducibility of consciousness to the brain. The irreducibility even of mind to the brain. Mind and consciousness not being the same. So we are this one consciousness in our days and weeks and months, in our waking and dreaming and sleeping, this one luminous consciousness. Everything else changes. This is one consciousness which gives us subjectivity. This is the essence of the sense of self. Sense of self is constituted by many things, memories, narrative, and whatnot. But those things can change. That essential subjectivity given by consciousness does not change. And this consciousness is an impersonal consciousness. Notice, all personality comes from the body. All personality comes from our memories, our own narratives about ourselves. But the consciousness by itself is entirely impersonal. Vedanta says that is who you are. It is that consciousness. Already we see, the problems of the body-mind are in the body-mind. Consciousness itself doesn't have the problem of aging. Consciousness itself doesn't have the problem of depression or frustration. Those are in the mind and the body. So this is what is already assumed by this verse. Before this verse starts, a clarity about ourselves as consciousness. And this, not only that, this is one impersonal consciousness, Vedanta would claim it is the same consciousness in all of us. It is the same consciousness in all of us. Bodies are different, our minds and personalities are different. As persons we are different. But as the witness consciousness, we are same. Same, not of the same type. In philosophy, there's a difference between type, token. So, not of the same type. We are literally the same consciousness. There's only one consciousness. In 13th chapter in Gita, Krishna says there is one consciousness in all bodies and minds. One knower of the field in all fields. And I am that. That's the idea of God in Vedanta. The one consciousness shining through all bodies and minds. We are that one consciousness. Someone would say, so are you saying we are God? Vedanta implies that, yes. Essentially. And this was the non-dual insight of mystics in every religion. Not only Vedanta, in Kashmiri Shaivism, in Christian mysticism. Meister Eckhart says the ground of my soul and the ground of God are one and the same ground. This, we are talking about that ground, that ultimate ground. Somebody from the United Kingdom sent me a cup. Yes, a cup, and I want to thank her. She sent me a very nice letter along with it. She heard one of these talks and about, am I God? And so the cup says, OMG, I am G. And a smiley face there, and a smiley face which says, OMG, I am G. Yes, in that sense. Not in the sense of, I am the creator of the universe, I am omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. No, that would be megalomania. In the sense of being pure awareness. The essence of what we are and sense of what is God is the same essence. That's the meaning of that thou art, tattvamasi. All of this is assumed. That's why I'm saying this is an advanced text. This was a preliminary foundational work. Now the next step, what this verse answers, the vast mirror of consciousness. What is it trying to answer? The question it tries to answer is this. All right, you are consciousness. And it doesn't take too much of thinking to come to that position. Many philosophers have come to that position. The really tricky question is, all right, I am the witness consciousness. I am aware of the world. I am aware of the body. I am aware of the mind. I am not the mind, not the body. I am not the world. I am the witness consciousness. Shankaracharya would sing, Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. I am not mind, I am not intellect, I am not memory, I am not even the ego, I am not the body made of 5 elements. Then what am I? Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am of the nature of bliss, consciousness, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Fine, we'll grant you that. But now the crucial question, what is the relationship between this witness consciousness which you are? Right now, you are. We're not talking about something esoteric. We're not talking about something after death or after some spiritual experience. It's right now. It's right now. It's this very consciousness with which we are living our lives. It's this very consciousness with which we love and hate and fight wars and be cruel to each other and be spiritual and philosophical and artistic. All of that. We are doing that with that same consciousness right here, right now. So what is the relationship between this consciousness and everything else you have rejected? You said, I am the witness of the world, I am not the world, I am not this body, I am not the thoughts and the emotions and the memories. They are all witnessed objects. I am the pure subject. They are objects, I am the consciousness therefore, thereof. What is the relationship between you and this universe? So are you separate? Are you one? Are you what? And this is an important question. In some ways, even a materialist scientist would not seriously dispute what we are saying. Now, he would just say you're giving a subjective perspective. But the scientist's major comeback would be, the materialist's major comeback would be, well, look, I really don't want to dispute you on this, that you feel that you're consciousness, you're the witness. Good, we will give you that. But what I want to say is, this wonderful consciousness of yours is nothing but a byproduct of material processes going on in the brain. When the brain is dead and gone, you're dead and gone. Kaput, finished. There's nothing left over.
I mean, you could see it that way, as in, obviously, the consciousness is unaffected by the egos, or the ego of your body. And the ego of your body will die with the body. The ego of the mind will die with the mind and brain when it dies as well. So, in some sense, you could say when the body dies, you die. But the consciousness doesn't die because the consciousness is unaffected by the ego, all the memories, all the heartaches, all the sadness, happiness, enjoyment, pain, suffering, your whatever your body has suffered throughout the entire time. All of that is dead. And in some sense, you could say that that is you to a degree. How else can I explain that to make it kind of make sense, though? But I can see it as in two ways. Obviously, you are the consciousness, but what makes, again, right now, how we interact, how I am and you are different. And whenever the body dies, this body no longer is here. So this accumulation of stuff is gone, and that's what we can say that you died. But the you consciousness is not dead, because the consciousness, there's one consciousness, this universal, that is in all of us, which can never die. Again, just looking at it from the Advaitic's perspective for that one. But again, like I said, I can look at it from both perspectives, and I get Advaitic's perspective, as in you are never the body, the mind, this accumulation of stuff and suffering and joyfulness. You are pure consciousness. At the same time, I can see that, obviously there's no other person out there like me, so the me in this situation is dead, because, no one has lived my life, my experience, my suffering, and my joy. No one in the world has lived through that, who's been to the different places I have, and inhaled the different smells. All those things make this body unique, and that body is dead, but then at the same time, it's just an illusion. So it's a very, very strong illusion.
So, matter, the objective universe, which you said, I am not that, I am the witness of that, that has generated you. This brain has generated you. This brain nervous system has generated what you call yourself, this wonderful consciousness. Now, this is the materialist perspective. The Vedantic perspective is just the opposite. It wants to say that this entire universe is actually grounded in consciousness. Consciousness is not grounded in the universe. Consciousness is not being produced by the brain. It's not part of the brain. It's not part of the processes of the brain. It's related. There's some correlation, but it's not causation. It's not produced by the brain. And this is where the hard problem of consciousness, the irreducibility of mind to the brain, all of these come in. Now we will bring into play the examples.
Okay, actually, I'm going to pause it right there. Well, actually, the perfect time. But I do want to kind of go. Actually, I was just thinking about what he was saying a little bit before. I didn't really want to get into it because I know I talk a lot. So video's over with if you don't want to hear me talk anymore. So I can see both perspectives as well. As a matter of fact, the way I was thinking about that was the fact that, say the world does exist and the universe does exist, but without a consciousness to experience it, does it exist? It's kind of like, I guess, the saying that is, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Because if there's no consciousness there, did it really make a sound? I guess it goes back to that question. Actually, that question, yes. Because I don't know. It's just that's something I thought of, and I see again, like I said, I see both perspectives where you know, without consciousness, can we really say that anything exists? So for things to, I wouldn't say exist necessarily, but for things to be, I don't know if aware, for things to be aware of, that's not the right word, for things to be, for things to be acknowledged to exist, consciousness has to be there. So we are. I am consciousness of this pen, and so are most of you, so long as you're not blind, or so long as you're not looking away from the whatever screen you're looking at. You are conscious of this pen. But if this pen were to be, say, to never ever be capable of ever being found, does it actually ever exist? It's a very weird example, and I just thought of it again. Again, all the things I think on the spot, it could be complete garbage. So don't throw that out. Don't throw that out. But if it can never ever be found, does it actually ever exist? If it can never ever be aware of it, does it exist? Oh shoot. Again, it goes along the lines of the tree as well, where we assume when a tree falls, it makes a sound. But if no one was there to, if no one was aware of that tree ever have fallen, did it really make a sound? And and this tree can never be found. Why am I coming up with this example like that? Again, I'm just talking things through and how my brain works. So I could be complete garbage here. So, and of course, the other perspective, which is the materialistic perspective, is the fact that consciousness is the byproduct of the material, which I did think that way, honestly. And my honest thinking is it could be somewhere in the middle, whereas in the consciousness that we have could be a byproduct of the material world and is only ever existing in our brain, but it doesn't take away the fact that we are still the consciousness in the brain, and that our consciousness is still is in its truest form unaffected by the material world. So I'm kind of in this middle ground, which still can make sense. That again, when the body dies, you as the body are no longer conscious of itself or anything else, because death and deep sleep are very similar because it's just nothing. You could say death is deep sleep forever. I guess I gotta make an assumption there, because when you're dead, well, we don't know what that's like. I guess there might be some people who actually do, who've come back to life. But when you're dead, I assume you see nothing because the consciousness inside the body, is aware of nothing because there's no activity. Kind of like in deep sleep, there is brain activity, but in deep sleep, you just are aware of nothing. So again, like I said, my mentality is somewhere in between the two, the material and Advaita Vedanta. The only difference that I have between Advaita Vedanta and the way I think is the fact that the consciousness is limited to your brain. Outside of that, everything is still the same. You can still become, in a sense, enlightened, as in you no longer suffer from this world. You can realize that you're not the body, per se, or not the mind. Not the body and the mind, actually. And that you're something else different. And you can still be, not in the same sense as enlightenment in the Vedanta, let me say that. Just in the sense that you can no longer not, you no longer have to suffer from your emotions, from the things in the world. Again, because again, I have no proof that we are the one consciousness. It's kind of very hard, but everything else about Advaita Vedanta, I genuinely truly believe in. Like, you are not the brain, you're not the body. you're something else. You're very much aware of it, and I do believe you are this awareness. But are you this big awareness of everything? That I just don't know. I genuinely all I ever experience is myself, my brain, and whatever else I experience. So that's the only proof I have of I guess my limited awareness. So that is easily provable. We're all like he just stated in the end there that we there's no disputing the fact that we are conscious and we are conscious of what we do as individual beings. But the biggest illusion is the fact that are not well. I won't say that's the biggest illusion, but the illusion so far. Let me take it into two different illusions. The illusion is that we think we are the body and the mind and not the consciousness. We are aware that we are conscious, but we are the body and the mind. Whereas that's one of the illusions that we need to strip away, that we are not the body and mind and we are consciousness. This is where I'm at. Now, I would say that probably a lot of Vedanta would think I am still in this illusion because I don't think of my consciousness as this one consciousness, one what's the right way to say it? Brahman, this one big consciousness instead of all the little individual consciousness. I think that's it. So I'm still, if that is true, then I am still in the illusion, even though I am aware of who I am, but I'm just not aware that I am, or that that I am grander. I guess that's not the right word because I am means I'm an individual, but that I can't say my consciousness because it's not mine. This is the problem with trying to phrase it right. Let me try to phrase it as best I can. That the consciousness that I'm aware of is not my consciousness, but our consciousness. I think that's the best way to put it. So I'm still stuck on this body mind consciousness, and then in terms of Vedanta, probably pure consciousness. So individual consciousness and pure consciousness, the one consciousness pervading all of us. For me, it's the I guess it's actually a lot closer to the materialistic realm, where the consciousness right here, and then those people who are not aware that they are that they are consciousness at the very least, but they are the body and mind, which is majority of people. Me, I'm aware that I am consciousness, that I'm not the body and mind, that I don't have to suffer this world, but I still do. I'm still aware of it, but I still suffer from it. And then you have, I believe, Advaita Vedanta, which is pure consciousness, the one consciousness pervading all of us. Hope that makes sense. I know I said a lot of word salad there, and it probably doesn't make any sense. I know I talked about how I understand both perspectives there. The materialistic one was definitely the one that I was before watching his videos, but I think I was even further back than that, where I understand that we are conscious of things, but there's not this consciousness. It's the mind being aware of things. So as opposed to a consciousness. Perhaps I was in that state before this videos. Even after my world religions class, where life is suffering, I was still in the belief that we are the mind and body, and even we are the mind and body, and that when you recognize that life is suffering, you can choose not to suffer with life. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's definitely not. What do you call it? Being enlightened, but it's perhaps a path to enlightenment. Obviously, enlightenment would be the ending of suffering. Perhaps again, look at Swami Vivekananda, where he still uh, definitely felt something for people. He still cried and still felt sadness for people. So, but the thing is, though, that he was aware that he is not the body and mind, which is very confusing to me a little bit. It shows that he's still human, obviously, because he still feels emotions and stuff, and still shows it. Whereas, um, like Sadhguru, where he seems to be always in bliss and in joy and not really suffering. But then again, that's all I can see of him. In this speaking events, obviously we're not going to see him crying there. I don't believe. So I don't know if he shows any emotions other than say bliss or happiness. Anyways, that's a lot of things I said. I should probably end the video now. Alright, that's the end of part 2. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.